Good morning and good afternoon to all of you. I'm excited to be here to talk about one of my favorite topic areas, communication, and the challenges that we face as nanomaterials organizations when communicating complex topic areas, including during a crisis of myth or disinformation. So to start off, for those of you who don't know who Cerion is, we're a company that specializes in the science of designing, scaling up, and manufacturing inorganic nanomaterials for companies developing products or systems. We were founded in 2007, so similar to Hannah, we are also celebrating an anniversary this year, 15 years. We have 3 facilities located here in Rochester, New York, our R&D lab, our manufacturing facility, and our corporate offices. And from here, we support a global base of customers in more than 40 different industries. So we're a services company. So when it comes to communications, we have a double challenge, both communicating what we do plus the science of it. So it goes a little bit beyond media. So let's talk a little bit about strategy and dive right into best practices and fundamentals when it comes to communication. Where to start? Fundamentally, you need to answer 4 key questions when developing communications. Who am I talking to? And for us, it's customers, prospects, media analysts, academia, one of these groups, 2 of these groups, all of these groups. What's their background? What do they do? Is it a scientist, engineer, product manager, C-level? Could it be all of them? How are they going to interact with me? Are they going to come to my website? Are they going to find me on social media? Are they going to see me quoted in traditional media? Are they going to approach me at a trade show? Or, as we are today, listening on a webinar? So once you answer those 3 fundamental questions, the big question then is, how do I do it? How do I break down or simplify my message to be clear but come across as an authority? This goes for strategic communication as well as crisis communication. So for example, as I was preparing my presentation for today, I wasn't sure what most of your backgrounds were. I knew that you were probably either a user or maker of nanomaterials, but what was your job within the industry? Why would you be interested in what I had to say? Academic, company, industry organization member? So I tried to develop a conversation here that would resonate both with those familiar or unfamiliar with communication strategy. A few interesting tips and tricks along the way. So how then do you do it? When we're talking about an audience interested in nanomaterials, since they could range from highly technical to absolutely generalist. So a few things to keep in mind when it comes to messaging and messaging strategy. Start with identifying your core topic areas. What does your audience want to hear about? Secondly, stay in your lane. It's important that you don't overreach or try to tackle a topic that's not in your wheelhouse, or, as Hannah mentioned, answer a question from the media that you don't know the answer to, even if it's important to your audience. For us, we focus on 3 core competencies. Our competencies are design, scale-up, and manufacturing of nanomaterials. We have in-house experts that contribute to content and the topic areas, and the many subtopic areas that go along with them. So IDing your experts internally, who can and should speak on behalf of the company in times of strategic communication, so presenting on a webinar, or in times of crisis communication, reacting to media. You've hired or partnered with them for their experience. Use it. Once you've identified the what and the who, you can begin to develop some content. So as a practical example of this, we as a company identified synthesis methods as an important topic area to our key audience. It's in our wheelhouse. We have experts on staff that can contribute to a piece of content about it. We subsequently published an article and on our website and on social media, and we developed several videos and articles as well on our website that are more strategic in nature for our less technical audience. So we have pieces that address our technical audience and our less technical audience on topics such as commercialization and global trends as it relates to nanomaterials specifically. So let's talk about how to develop that content, some key considerations and best practices that we use. Content development at its core is extremely difficult. If any of you have ever done it or had to write a paper or an article or a blog or have been asked to contribute to an article, you've identified the key areas that are interesting to your audience or a key topic that is timely and relevant. So where do you go from here? You're likely dealing, again, with a highly diverse audience, technical, non-technical, a number of job titles or industries. No matter what the topic area is, always use a few of these best practices to help you synthesize what you want to say. So outline your article, blog, video, or other vehicle, email ahead of time. This will pay dividends in the long run. It'll help you organize your thoughts and also think through the actual layout of the piece. Layout, including subheadlines and quotes, are much more important than you might think. The organization of the piece is key in making your communications clear and engaging your audience. Secondly, make the language as easy to understand as possible. As Hannah said, here's a true story. My son was working on his thesis in geochemistry. His advisor was like, too many words, simplify. No matter how many edits or iterations he went through, the research was solid. It was just the language he was using that made it difficult to read and understand. Take out the unnecessary or duplicative language. Once you made a strong point that's clear, just move on. So third, again, give examples. Use examples as a way to illustrate your point. Quotes from industry experts also go a long way to reinforce ideas, concepts, or create added credibility for your topic. Imagery. Sometimes the topics that we talk about when it comes to nanomaterials or science in general are much better illustrated with images, charts, graphs, anything but words. Use this tool not only to help reinforce your point, but draw the reader in, keep their attention. And first and foremost, I think Hannah mentioned this as well, we're all human. Your words are the link between the technology and the people who use it. Choose and use your words wisely to both make your point and make a connection with your audience. So now you've got your content. How do you get people to read it? What do you do with your content? For us as a company, we need to make sure that our content is used in a way that entices our audience to engage with us, wherever they are in their buying or development journey. That means ensuring we're available wherever they're searching for information. So how do you know where they are? This could involve some research on your end up front in answering the where are they question. This will help you identify which delivery methods you should use for your content so you can build credibility and thought of as you're continuing to build your authority with your key audiences. Consistency with messaging is critical across all of your engagement tactics. So your website, your social media, traditional media, radiate that message appropriately based on the delivery vehicle. Keep it simple, keep it regular. Consistency in communications is key. Secondarily, industry organizations like the NIA are a blessing for all of us. Understanding what like companies and individuals are experiencing and having a format for discussion and learning, and at the end of the day, policy influencing, will help build a collective knowledge base and understanding of a complex topic area like nanomaterials. Equally, if not most importantly, being known as a key resource to your customer or your key audience and elevating your importance to them all the time, even when you're not working with them. So as a company, whether our key audience, companies that develop products or systems, have new projects, or even when they don't, it's critical to continue to be their resource for information. Ultimately, this creates an initial brand affinity, and once you work with them, brand champions. So thinking ahead, this is really important. You've got messaging, you've got a strategy, and you got some content as a starting point. Thinking long-term and also planning for the unexpected is essential to your communication strategy. You've got to continually ask yourself, what's next? This is never a one and done situation. Continue to be educated on current affairs, topics that impact the industry, new technologies, processes, or application areas, so that you can consistently develop relevant content and conversations for your audience. That's step one from a long-term strategy perspective. You also need to think about what happens if, or ultimately when, there is a paper published or a press release that creates a negative perception of the industry, a particular material, or even your business or your specialty area. We all know this is bound to happen. So prepare for it. You've identified your area of expertise. You have your experts in-house. Make sure you can activate them if and when it's time. I also absolutely recommend baking in media training to your long-term strategy for any and all of your team members. This is something we've actually done, and I can tell you it's an enormous help and very well received, particularly from our scientists, They're not experts in communications. It gets them comfortable and gets the entire team on the same page as far as consistent and clear messaging on behalf of the organization. So identifying an organizational spokesperson or subject matter expert for certain topic areas that can help craft your response in a crisis. One person and one person only should be the company spokesperson when it comes to responding to media to ensure the consistency, again, and that clear message. Reach out to your industry organization to gauge their response, get ahead of the swirl, and get everyone on the same page. Again, having this opportunity to connect with others in your industry, particularly in a time of crisis, is critical. Reaching out to key stakeholders, both internally and externally, making sure your internal team members, as well as your vendors, partners, and customers, especially in times of dis or misinformation, are armed with accurate and consistent information and updates. We all know we've seen it. It has happened a lot with COVID-19 and the mis and disinformation, as well as just internally policy, politics, and making sure everyone is on the same page when it comes to combating this virus. Additionally, proactive media outreach if necessary. So there are a lot of media that often, take hold of one topic area or one headline and propagate that mis or disinformation because they really don't know the whole story. Reach out to them, address it directly. So measuring success. At the end of the day, how do you know your message is getting across? How do you know you're making an impact? How do you know you're being clear? How are you influencing as a thought leader as you'd hope to? Measuring success for us as a business is critical. We're constantly looking at data points to shift and adjust our communication strategy to ensure we're hitting several key milestones. First and foremost, building and maintaining our credibility in the industry, establishing new and deepening relationships with customers, partners, etc. And expanding our reach and developing new advocates based on thought leadership. So consistently expanding the audience of folks that we're talking to, folks that are hearing our message, and folks that we're engaging with, whether that's in person or via online opportunities. And finally, again, anticipating and mitigating negative industry perception. So have a plan. Okay, that's all I've got for today. Thank you again for inviting me. This is really just scratching the surface, as you know, when it comes to communication strategy. I only had a few minutes today, but I could talk forever about this topic area. So feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any additional questions, or now if you have any additional questions, reach out if you want to discuss any of these elements in more detail at a later time. I'd be happy to have a conversation. Thank you.